Kia ora tātou. Kia ora, kia ora, kia ora. Tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora Metamexi, kia ora Ote, kia ora Tamara. Yes, we are all excited for tonight's speaker. Want to bring him in a little bit. I need to just sort that out. Kia ora Hennessy, kia ora Nadine. Okay, I'm kind of like a bit jittery because I went to the gym. It's been too long. Kia ora Hannah. Kia ora Celtic Māori. And I just come home and I had my mum's curry. Had my brother-in-law went to go grab from Rotorua and I'm feeling terrible. Kia ora Siam. Tēnā koe. How was my weekend with the whānau? A bit stressful, to be honest. We had a tangi here in Heretaunga. Well, Tamatea, Heretaunga Tamatea. For one of our rangatira here in Kahungunu. Ngai te kiki o te rangi. Ngai tau mataka kānui. Ngai toro I waho. E Ngāti Mārau. Tēnā koe, Shannon. So yeah, we lost a bit of a tōtara haimata here in Kahungunu, and I've been at his tangi for the last 2 days. Oh, we. Oh, you were there at the tangihanga there, Hennessy. Did you see me? Kia ora kawa. Yeah, bit of a sad one too. Kia ora Riverside. Kei te rawe ahau, we are looking forward to tonight's guest. We are all looking forward to tonight's guest. And actually, when I first started this, I was like, I know who would be the perfect person to bounce off. So, our guest tonight is Pairama Wright. And he's concerned about not knowing how to get in. Excuses. Cheer, Louis, or Lewis. Tēnā koe, Piki. Tēnā koutou te ono te kau mā whākua taimai nei ki tēnei whare kōrero. Tēnā koe Sigrid. Now, ko ka Berta, tēnā koe. I've never done a double live. You'll get in all right. Kia ora rangi tāne, tēnā koe hoa. How about this? I get up to speak today, and I gotta do my own waiata. Ko te morangi ki mua. Far out. And then someone from our kapa who was part of another ope really, she says, oh, sorry I didn't back you up, but you stole our waiata. And I go, that's my koro's waiata. Yeah, oh well. Just have to adjust. Okay, let's just recap what we were talking about last week. I've written down a couple of notes. So first and foremost, we had our last live with Josh Rakatairi, Tāne Rore Rakatairi. Rawe te pō, koka. Block that, get rid of that India mans. We don't need that sort of silly talk. So, reflections on Josh. Now, look, it was hard, like, capturing all of his kōrero, but there were some gems in there. Kia ora, baby cub. So, his kiwaha was mura o te ahi, doing something in the in the heat of the moment. I hoko au e rahu I te mura o te ahi. I bought those shoes in the heat of the moment. His example was, I moi tahi māua I te mura o te ahi. I slept with that person, we slept together in the heat of the moment. Cool, that's that part. His kupu that he had just learnt, and he had learnt it from Te Reo, was huiki, awkward. Kia ora Joan, kia ora Vision, tēnā koe, tēnā kōrua. And maupo. I'm sure we get a lot of that maupo sort of behaviour on TikTok. A bit cringe. His lesson was, don't wait for your kick up the bum to start your journey. Maupo, cringe. Tēnā koe. Don't wait for your kick up the bum to start your journey. Some of us need it. Well, hopefully this is your kick up the bum. Tēnā koe rākauroa. The resources that you could be using is Ako. Go on to Māori television. There is some stuff there. Tēnā koe tarawera. There is some episodes from Ako that you can play on demand. Easy peasy. Pukana. Watch some Māori television. I'm sure it'll pop up every blimmin' half an hour. And Wakahuia. You can see a whole lot of documentaries there with all in the reo, all native speaking. Ako worksheets are amazing there, Jess. Really, really helpful. And another lesson was have humility. Which brings me on to my next kōrero. I had asked both him and Denata who their favourite pū kōrero are. So he said, Te Reo, Pētera Hakiwai, and Kingi Kiriona. Now, over the last 2 days, I was on the same ope as Kingi Kiriona and Pētera Hakiwai. And here's me thinking. Here are two pū kōrero that are well known in our rohe. And so I'm crapping myself because I know I've got to get up and speak. Well, do I have to speak? I don't know. And so I get up, blah, 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 blah. I said to one of my friends who's on the other side, it's his brother who's passed away, and I said to him, I am here for you. We are here for you to cry on our shoulder. But don't cry on my suit, because it cost me $600. It's such a me thing to say. Wait until I've taken it off. Or if I'm wearing a Hallenstein suit. It's only $200. Much better. Not why I'm wearing this custom fit one. Anyway, a bit too soon. So it goes down the line and it gets to Petera and he goes, Matua, all good if you cry on my shoulder. It's only a $20 shirt I got on. And I was thinking, I'm just trying to take the piss out of me. I was serious. And then Kingi Kiriona gets on and he goes, oh yeah, I got my stuff from the hoko shop. And then went back to their side and they said, oh, I got a $2 suit. I was like, where do you guys value your clothes from? You guys look flash ass. Anyway, so I was wearing a suit. I was wearing the suit, and today I turned up, because they had already had their kōrero, and I was there to just respond again. So I stood up again, but I came representing a different tira. So I represented my mahi. And this time, I got up and I said, look, I've got a different portai on because I'm representing a different kaupapa. So I was wearing this hat. The other one I was wearing my cowboy hat, or whatever it was. And I changed my clothes. I go, all good if you cry on my shoulder now, brother. All good. Because there's been kohar from my mahi. And I said, but did you see Kingi Kiriona's shoes? Those had to have at least been at $300. Tēnā koe Kingi Kiriona. I o teka! And I know those jeans, Pētera Hakiwai. Those jeans are the same ones I'm wearing today. Those are $140. Tēnā koe o te ka. Yes, the double whai kōrero te whare aio. Cheer, brother. Tēnā koe. Tēnā koe ngāri no. And I thought, oh, well, you know, because they were talking about this wānanga. They're like, oh, yeah, he wānanga kei te haere. Oh, it's a wānanga, is it? So I said, how can I incorporate this hanawiti kōrero? So the papa hone on the other side says, e wānanga kei te haere. Kia aro tātou ki te whare tapawha. I'm going to work this in somehow. Ko tētai prawa, ko te whare tapawha. Ah, tika tāhau. One bread is the whare tapawha, tika tāhau. The other thing is that there's too many responsibilities on our kauheke. They're taking on way too much. And we know, when we bring those together, if we can resolve those things, ka reka rawa atu te hanawiti. Anyway, it sounded much better when I said it over there. But yeah, the look at the look they gave me when I stood up again. Try the double karanga same day manuhiri. Yeah, so I dropped the handuiti. If only if I could have worked in that. Get my in there. That's would have been a lethal kōrero. I wanted to say, mena he raru tāhau, ki aku kōrero, hara mai. Neke mai. And that would have just went off. Anyway. No, Maya, you don't have enough followers for me to invite you. Anyway, so we've summarised our kōrero. I don't want to go on too much, but now we're going to invite our great friend, Pairama Wright. Kia ora, brother Pucks. Tēnā koe kohine. Where is he at? Pop yourself up. Pop yourself up with the comments. Oh, there we go. Accept.
Oh. Where am I?
Where are you?
I don't know. Oh, I'm going to cut the camera on. Okay, konei. Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe, Pairama, kei te pēhea.
Yeah, āhua mataku.
Kei te ao mai.
Yeah. Sorry,
Well,
I'm just finishing up there.
Māku koe e whakatau.
Thanks.
I tēnei pahotanga mataora. Kia pai ai ngā whakaritenga o te pō. Wai hoa ke rā whira o te mataku o te wedi rānei. Kōrero tō kōrero. Here we go. We'll start with the karakia, just because it's a wānanga kōrero. And ka whio te rākau ki a koe mena e pirangi ki te hua ki tātātou nei hui. Ki te kore, māku tēnā.
Ai. Ai, me karakia. Ka tohi atu koe ki te tohi nohu ki te tohi rangi, ka huaia koe ki te pūtiki whara kia te aia koe ki te manu rere rangi. Te rau o tītopa kia pai ai koe te haere i runga rā. I runga haua koe i te pō uriuri, te pō tangotango. I rā kai tia koe ki te pukiko o tuki te rau o te tōro a te huia tītama. Ākina e tama nā kupu o te riri, nā kupu o tawhiti, he mea ka waubai. Ka piti roga e, ka piti raro e, he pōkanga nuku, he pōkanga rangi, tauhihi ko paurarama, te ahu i roto, mārama i roto. Tēnā te pau toko manoa, te pau o e nei, kōrero, hui te ora, hui te mārama e, haumi e, hui e,
tāi. Tēnā koe.
Kia ora, okay, yeah. Ko tau.
Ko tau, nāne. Ka pai. Oh, it is a pleasure to have you here, my friend.
Thank you.
It's been a while. It's been a while since you and I have had a little gas bag.
No, probably toru tauki muri maybe. Actually, yes. No. Actually, rima tau probably.
2017 Ono tau.
18.
Wait, 18. Yes, you're right. So, e te iwi, Pairama and I, we stand for Ngāti Kaingu Ki Here Taonga, our kapa. And, yeah, it was, you know, well, he's here. Look, we're both there. I just letting you know. Here we are. Tātou katoa. Katoa tika atu tātou ki ngā pātai. We have a couple of questions. You're going to have to repeat your question there, Pavi, because I can't remember what it was, and I can't be bothered having a look at it. So, just to be straight with you, we wanted to know, ko wai koe, nā wai koe, no hea koe.
Oh, ka pai. Well, kia ora, ko I te taho tōku pāpa no Taranaki, nā ruahine, te atiawa ki Pōneke, Taranaki te maunga ko Aotea te waka I naha me kāpuni ngā awa, Aotea te waka, Ngāti Manuhia kai te hapu, te aroha o Tītoko Waru te marae. I te taho tōku māma, no karitāne ia, no te tonga, te waipounamu, ka tima moe. I ka roa te mauka, arai te uru te waka, waikau waiti te awa, puki te rā ki te marae. I tipu ake au te nuinga o te wai I kahungunu no reira me mihi ka tika ki a kahungunu. He momo whāngai ahau ki a kahungunu I whai tūranga I roto I te ao Māori I kahungunu. I ako au I taku reo me ona tikanga I kahungunu. So yeah, takotu ana te nākau ki kahungunu.
Ka pai.
Yeah, ko au tēnā.
Yeah, I tipu ake koe I te pito o te ao, pea.
Ai.
Here taunga mānia, here taunga ararai, here taunga hara te kai. E hia kia nei ngā kōroropo here taunga. Nā reira, tēnā koe hoa, me nei, me nā kōrero. What I'd like to know, what I've been trying to do is actually to get people to tell us a little pūrākau that they know it can either be from the area of whakapapa, or can be just a kōrero that you may know.
Ooh, that's random. Okay.
It's a bit random.
I'm actually so okay. Here's my little like, what's it called? I'm like, I don't listen to stories very well. This is the thing. I don't like to share pūrākau because this is why I don't listen enough to actually give it mana when I'm telling the story. So like, I could tell you about rogokako, I could tell you about Pānia of the Reef, I could tell you about bloody Tānem, I don't know, I could tell you about anyone and I just will do a bad job of it.
Let's hear a bad job of it. Let's hear the story of Pānia.
Oh, Pānia reminds me of my love life. Nah.
You're of your age.
So Pānia fell in love with, what's his name, Karitoki?
Karitoki.
Yeah. Who basically was not desired by her people. And is that right? Yeah, and then so she went to the underworld or the above world?
The above world?
Yeah, to, whai hononga and was rejected, well, by her whānau. And so she turned herself into a reef in order to be with the Moake Tonuatu.
Kia ora rā.
That's my understanding. This is the thing. Like, I've been told this story 954,000 times. I can't repeat it to you with mana. Like, that was like a 5-year-old just gave you a pūrākau.
I was actually hoping that you would refresh my memory because I've also been told this story a million times. I'm
like, you should go to the underworld or the above, into the far out. Just kino. Yeah, pūrākau is not my kaha.
Fair enough. So, to add on top of that, she has a son. They both have a son called More More.
Oh, ko
and he is, ko More More. More More it comes in the form of a hammerhead shark, and he is a kaitiaki of the Ahuriri. Is it called an estuary? I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah.
So he's a kaitiaki along those, and she used to go to this this river called Tuhina Po to go and bathe. But she used to come in the form of a ponaturi, which is one without knees.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have just recited this. We did this pātere when I stood with another kapa, and there was a bit of a kōrero about more, about the iwi pōna turi in there. I should have just thought about that. Actually, the thing was called Te Reo Tāwhaki. I don't know if you remember the pātere. Pairama did it.
Yeah, kind of like a mermaid.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
Yeah. No.
Anyway. Okay. So what is your mita, and what are some of the key differences in your mita compared with others?
I think my mita's generic. Hioi, I tend to have kahungunutanga every now and then. The height.
Yeah.
The awau. Every now and then it pops out, those ones. But i te nuinga o te wā, it's generic reo. And I think that's just because because it's a second language. I'm a second language learner, and it's actually learned as an adult too, so you kind of do learn generic. But hioi aku au I kahungunu, so every now and then certain things come out. I love the kahungunu reo, though, especially those AI, kai te hai, it sounds cool.
I find it so ugly to say.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Hai raira.
No,
Kai te pai. Makes me speak like that. You like that? Kai te pai au.
Kai te pai.
I'm a bit like that. I like the tahos, I like the nahos, I like the nahana, I like the mahos.
Yeah.
And try to incorporate that into my kōrero as well.
Actually, I'll never use tau or toi, or it's always taho, tōhau, all those.
Oh, I love it.
I didn't actually click that was fully kahungunu, but now that you say it, yeah. And even like koutou is a kahungunu mita, ne?
Well, I don't know if it's a meta thing. It's actually just is it orthographics? What they've done is actually, so it's definitely tātou and mātou. We've seen it in the writings, but this is what Josh said as well, is that they haven't seen koutou in the writings. They have seen koutou, but they do say that this is actually what you say. There's no actual whakapapa.
Okay, kua whakaututia taku pātai, because I au e tuhi ana ka tuhia K-O-U-T-O-U, engari ka ki koutou. And I'm like, why is this happening? Yeah, and so that kind of answers that question. I
think we have to be very clear about, like, if that's what we're going to do, that's what we're going to do. Because, like, I hear a lot of people say po for poo.
Or te ara hau.
Te ara hau, te ara hou.
The windy path.
The windy path. Yes, that's exactly what it is, And so, poo are the ones that annoy me. Hou is the ones that annoy me. But te ra pēa, kore tai te pēha. And I think, Jeremy, when he's like rubbed that kōrero in, because he says that when he does government translations, he adds in his mātou, because he says very little people actually, a few people actually say mātou and tātou.
Oh, okay.
Rātou.
Yeah.
Even koutou.
Yeah.
I suppose I make it sound ridiculous.
Yeah, but you overemphasize it, eh? But sometimes that's the only way to understand it.
Yes. Okay, so I know this is probably on the same sort of thing, but what are some kupu that you use that we don't really use in Awarohe?
That we don't use in Awarohe?
I know, we did the hai and...
Oh, yeah.
Can you think of any ones?
Ko instead of kua. Every now and then it comes out as ko, like ko haere instead of kua haere. Kaore te mohe o mea he āhuatanga o kahungunu or not, but based on my upbringing there, I would often hear people say, ko haere, and I'm like, bo kua. They're like, nuts, it's a he mea kahungunu, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I started hearing it. It's like when you buy a waka and you start seeing that waka all the time. Now I'm hearing ko haere all the time, and I'm like, oh, so I don't know if you.
I think that's
what I want to.
I think what I've heard is that's like a nativism, so it's like old people kind of say it as a kind of a shortcut.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it's kahunu-centric, but I understand what you mean. It's the same as I've heard moho for mohio.
Oh, yeah. That sounds
great. Moho koutou, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, to pai tēnā, Okay, so we've got to know you and your region, or the type of reo that you speak. When did you start your reo journey?
I te tau reo mano 17 te kaumā. Oh no, te kaumā ono. Ia au e 26 ana. Yeah, te kaumā ono. So I was real, you know, ahua ngaroa hau I tau wā. Kei te kotai atu au ki te whare here here. I was out the gate, man. Like, I mua taku haere, I'll whai honunga ki te ao Māori. And so it was, I think, I mutu au I te tifike te puoro me ki EIT. And my dad came up to me and was like, son, ka hakoe a te rātau? And I was like, oh, I don't know. He's like, oh, well, hara mai ki te aha Māui EIT, ki te ako I tō reo. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And at that time, I was like, I say this to everyone, yeah, I'll go, you know, learn my pepeha. Thinking that's what I was just going to go and learn you know, how to do my pepeha and basic pronunciation and all those sorts of things. And yeah, nui atu I tērā, man. I'm just like, get there and you experience the pōhiri and you experience just te ao Māori in a really authentic way, and yeah, it'll change there. So it was 26 years old. When I was 25, I couldn't even say much more than kia ora.
Holy hell. What was it that kicked you up the bum? What was the thing that made you actually do it? Other than, so it was just your dad, just like a random suggestion?
It was a random suggestion at my sister-in-law's 21st birthday, actually. It was a partially intoxicated conversation. And I just decided to go with it. And the part that kicked me up the bum was my sister. So my dad had my sister when he was living in Australia, and brought her back, and she's the niece of Harlem Cruz. So my dad was with Harlem Cruz's sister. And she went to Kura Kaupapa Māori, and I started seeing this whole new world, because Kura Kaupapa Māori, to me, I didn't even know what Te Aho Matua was.
Yeah.
And she was my big motivation, because I'm like, here's the skill that's ko te reo tuatahi he reo Māori, and I'm like, I can't communicate with her. And that was the thing that pushed me. So she's like my biggest inspiration, you know. But actually just falling in love with finding myself actually meant so much more than just getting a reo, which is why I do what I do now for a job, because I want people to understand the beauty of te ao Māori and all things Māori from myth. Yeah. So yeah, that was the kick up the bum, was starting to see a change in myself, because I was honestly a shit person.
Cool.
I was an asshole.
There you have it, Ete Iwi, 26 years old. He started his journey.
Yeah.
26. Never too late.
Aye.
Started his journey. By 25, he didn't know his reo at all. This is a concurring theme that we've seen with our interviewees. They were never brought up in Te Reo Māori, but something told them there was a calling there for them to take that on as part of their own identity search. So if we remember Renata's kōrero, he started about 14 years old. I don't know when Josh was, but he seemed later in life. And now Pairama's saying 26. Holy hell. So if that is not motivation for you,
hard out, like actuals, especially if you went to like a kura that like did waiata Māori, or your pronunciation isn't a struggle for you, like cash in on it, because pronunciation's the biggest wero to actually to mow the reo, man. It's the biggest wero. So cash in on times like things that when you've already got those pukenga that are inherent within you. Because I know plenty of people. My brother is an example. His pronunciation is like really good. He couldn't even tell you what a kuri was. And I'm like, but he can say it like he has been saying it his whole life. And I'm like, go learn. You'll pick it up.
That's going to lead me on to another question, because someone asked in the muka kōrero of the video that I posted for this event. They had asked, look, we've seen some videos of you and Nathan doing some real stuff. And what sort of rautaki do you have that might encourage your whānau to learn te reo Māori?
The biggest thing is it's kind of a double entendre. I don't know if that's the word. Where like I'm doing that for that reason. So Nathan is really confident. He doesn't give a fuck. He will put himself out there. He'll make mistakes, as you've all probably seen. And I'm doing that on purpose, because I'm trying to show my family it's not intimidating. Like it's actually a cool, fun thing. And as along the way you're like things. So my rautaki is to show them that it's actually not scary by using someone within my whānau who's not. But in saying that, I found though with my whānau, because ko anake te tangata e kōrewhi ana te reo Māori i tōku whānau, and I've told them, and I think they're slowly, opening their eyes, and that's been really cool to see. But different thing when you actually take the step to go to a course and actually take active things to learn. But changing their mindsets is a big one, which is actually starting to happen. So I'm proud of that much. So yeah, existing in their space and just challenging them. They probably get so sick of it, but I don't care. Challenging them every single time. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And being the person that makes them conscious of saying takapau instead of takapau,
Yeah.
When I'm in the presence of people, not just my whānau, but anyone, secretly I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I'm glad that you've done a double take, because I'm sitting here and I'm going to just look at you like this, like, try harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen its linear has just popped up into the comments, and actually was one of the kōrero pātai that I was going to ask next, which was what have been some of the challenges that you've faced in learning your reo, or what has been the hardest part about learning te reo? We'll one question at a time. So, what has been some of the challenges that you've faced in learning your reo?
There's double, and actually kind of answers both of those questions. There's a deeper one and there's a less deeper one. The deeper one, I don't even know if I should go there, but I will, because I can't fuck up. But is honestly changing the perception of people when they see a white man learning te reo Māori. People, obviously before I had my moko, many people didn't know I was Māori. No, that's not why I fucking got it. Many people didn't know. Many people didn't know I was Māori. I would get people come up to me and be like, "Hi, my name's Miriama. Can you say Miriama?" And I'm like, "Miriama." Walk off and stuff, at first it would get to me, and I'm like, "What the? Oh my god, what world are you living in? Like, this is wild." And I'm like, "Oh," and I started to realize, "Oh, bro, you're a white man living in a brown man's world." But actually, the white man, but actually that's just how people are, and I come to realize that I can't change how they think unless I really have the desire to, but I don't give a shit about you enough to do that. So I just have to change how I react to it. So that was the challenge, was overcoming that reaction and not getting upset about it. Why is the white boy leading kapahaka, or stuff like that? And just the biggest challenge was overcoming that worry. I started to not give a shit. Once I got there though, fuck, I don't care anymore. And then in terms of the actual real physical things, te ako i ngā kupu, kōrero, okay, so I think that's why we talked earlier about me with pūrākau, kōrero hitori, like I don't remember it because I switch off. I just switch off, and it could be about me and I'll still switch off. Why? Because just like right this second, one person's talking too much. So I'll switch off. And so I've got to figure out other, I don't know, pedagogies to learning pūrākau and history and things like that. So that's one thing, is learning kōrero like that and actually grasping it. The second one is kupu.
That's going to be a question that comes up later on, so I hope you've got a kupu ready.
Okay, I'll shut my mouth. But yeah.
Can't lie. That's such a cool kōrero. And I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying full attention. I know what you mean. What do we need to do? Tie down. Pairama, this is the kōrero. Tuia ki te rai. Purua te moko. That's cool. I absolutely love that kōrero. Anyway, next question. How has failure shaped your perspective?
How has Yaha?
No doubt. No doubt, failure is just a given when you're learning te reo Māori.
Oh yeah.
Right. Shame comes part of it. It comes part of the package.
Yeah.
And how has failure, if it has or not, how has that shaped your perspective
of te reo Māori?
Yeah.
Or
just anything, or the meaning of shame. Yep.
How it's shaped my perspective, and it's taught me it's taught me that to never ever place myself as like the expert in any way, shape or form. It's like kind of off the back of Josh's kōrero, like to remain humble, because everyone's going to fail. Like, I whakatikai a haue koe i tēnei wiki, and I'm sitting, and it's like, great, it's good to get stuff like that, because even though that's not a failure, it can be seen as one when you get something wrong or where you've shared incorrect information. But the mea matu i te mutunga o te rā is to just remain humble and acknowledge, I failed. And now either A, can I learn from it? B, suck it up. Or C, no, that's a dumb reply. Be an asshole and ignore it. And I ain't doing the latter. So yeah, you just got to take it and learn from it, and it just creates humility, bro. Honestly, because everyone's going to fail at some stage. I'm still doing it now. I was teaching my students the other night about referencing puka puka Māori, and I got the reference wrong. And I'm like, oh, whoops, sorry. So never ever place yourself as the expert in any situation unless you're timoti.
Yes, absolutely. So let's just reiterate that kōrero is no mai te hapa. And reiterate the kōrero that we have to, as part of this process, actually release our ego. Because, if our ego gets in the way, then it's not going to allow us to move to correct some of those mistakes. And, sometimes people who know Te Reo Māori, it's not always the case that they're doing it because they feel elite over the person. It's actually that they want to, if this is a journey that you're on, why not support that person to learn, Yeah. I am open to anyone telling me, yes, does it hurt sometimes?
Yeah, it does. Especially, it hurts mostly when you're trying to share your mātauranga in any way, shape, or form. And then someone comes on and goes, oh, bro, that was and you're like, you feel instantly stink because you're that guy that's been sharing incorrect information. And at the same time, try your best not to fucking do that. Excuse my language.
Tukuna ngā whakatika I runga I te ngā kau whakaiti. I runga I te ngā kau aroha. So, if you are going to correct someone, then do it with a kind heart, a humble heart as well, for the kaupapa.
Yeah. And so, it's the same with and this goes more in line with the whole failure thing, is when there's been because I'm not by any means an amazing kai kōrero. In fact, I'm not. I just can kai kōrero, but I'm not a kai kōrero. And there's been times where I've done them and I'm like, oh, that was ugly, that was dumb, that was shit, that was it. You either shouldn't have stood up or, and those self-reflections, but having people that have also gained whakatika and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll take that and either learn from it or taiho or look at what I'm going to do next. That to me, I look at those two and I'm like, ooh, that was such a failure. I've got at least one in my head that's like, e pūkana mai ana. And that's, I use that as my lesson every single time I stand to do whai kōrero now. So that's another way that it shaped me, I guess, just to learn from them.
The beautiful thing about actually putting yourself, as a kai kōrero, a pū kōrero, te bea, is actually just standing up and letting the kupu flow. Yes, you've made your mistake, but you've let the reo go. You've ko tukuna te reo kia rere.
Yeah.
Which is actually a real important part of Te Reo Māori. If you're going to keep it alive, is actually just tau mai te hapa, he mai, hapa mai, e rā mea katoa. And I've experienced it over the last couple of days. I'm like, look, if I have kapa, whatever. My main thing is actually getting my message out. And tēnā. Kapai, what resources have been helpful in your journey?
Sorry, I was just reading a comment. Do you know what? Do you know what resources I love? People will crack up at this because they're so old school. But te rangatahi, you use them? So why I like them is
yes.
Wani Waititi.
Yep.
Why I like them is not because of the horopaki, because I think we're past the days potentially now where the men go and hunt and the girls cook. We can get past that. But the series of ture and kupu hou that it takes you through is perfect. It's a perfect journey. And honestly, if you're on that, because I get 598.3 questions a day on how can I learn Māori from Sydney, I don't know. And I'm like, that's always one thing I want to steer them in the direction of, because I'm like, you literally can sit there and go through that book and work through the exercises and just take away the structures, the real structures, and put it into your own horopaki. if you have to make it relevant to you, but looking at the structures, and it's all set out mean, and the journey that those puka puka take you on, there's a reason why they're still around today and used, is because they're cool. They're amazing. And so, yeah, that's my recommendation for the reo, is to make your way through rangatahi. Yeah.
Oh, tamahai.
Yeah, tamahai. God, it's so funny. Do you know what's really crack up with the funny story on tamahai? When I was... Oh, no, actually, I did not. No, that's a bad story.
So, Tamara, you can find those resources at Woodcool, just your regular bookshop, really. Okay, so people are talking about this thing called whakaiti. So, whakaiti is one e rua o na mata. There are two matas to this kupu whakaiti. One is to belittle someone, and the other is to, if you do ngākau whakaiti, then you change it to humility. You have those puka puka. Awesome, Hannah. Okay, so look, I mentioned this. I'm sure you captured this question when I spoke to Josh. But for our intermediate level speakers, it's always a real gap between that and actually kind of fluency.
Yeah.
Would you recommend any sort of resources that kind of bridge that gap?
Ooh. No. This is what I think bridges that gap, your people. That's the only gap bridging. I don't know what kind of rauemi, because if you mean the next level of reo, maybe. But if you're talking about fluency in terms of getting your reo from what you can put on paper and in your head and in your heart to actually just choo, that's a mate, your mate or your cousin or your auntie or uncle, or your experience on the marae is your rauemi. Those experience, those whiako, those experiences. I think that's the best rauemi for you. What's a gift star? Did I just get a gift?
You did.
Yeah. So that's
Love that.
That's my answer to that question. In terms of kupu, I would honestly, this is what I do. So I've been reading, in terms of getting your reo to the next taumata, and I can't even speak for this because my reo honestly needs to be way higher. But get a book like I'm reading Hare Pote at the moment. And there's so many kupu in there that I don't know. So what I do is I go through, when I don't know a kupu, I'll stop, and it will sometimes take me a day to read a bloody chapter. Because I'm too busy trying to, I don't know that word, and I have to go in wānanga, and that's a really cool way of learning kupu hoi. So that's a way of taking your reo to the next level, because people that write puka puka, especially ones like that, they need to use all the flash kupu that aren't just your standard reo. So in terms of taking your reo to the next level, that's a good huarahi. But in terms of taking your reo to a fluency level, find your auntie or your uncle or your mate or anyone. And if you don't have anyone in your life that's got a reo, then join a wānanga of some sort.
That is really, really good advice, because, sometimes you can feel like this journey is pretty lonely if you're not in the whare wānanga and you're trying to, be a book bug. But that is such a good one, because it tells us to live the way that we used to in terms of connecting with our people out there.
Yeah.
And actually learning, and this is sort of the same ahua as us being humble, recognizing how much we don't know, and going to our kaumatua, going to our uncles and aunties, and just opening these up. That is such a good one. I'm going to hold that one, because I never thought about that kind of practically.
Yeah.
Ai hare ki o kaumatua. Tēnā. Okay. We've come to sort of the whole journey kōrero, and we're going to go shift into another part of it. What I want is for people to follow a couple of pages. So let's just have a little wee break there, Pairama. The kōrero that you've shared with us is pretty neat. I'm absolutely loving your kōrero, and to hear your perspective on things. The 2 pages that I want you to follow, e te iwi, 145 people are here at the moment. Koka Mahina.
Yes.
Let's see if we can pull up a thingy of her. Oh. Koka Mahina. The one that you'll know it's her if it's the one with not as many followers. We want to get her to 500 followers. So, Koka Mahina. You're probably not going to be able to see this very well, but it's this page here. Let's get her to 500 followers so that she can come live. It is a new page there, Machu. I know it looks a bit blurry, and it's not a great photo. But hey, follow Koka Mahina. Let's get it to 500 likes. I want to see that going up as the week goes by. And the other one is, I know, this is a bit of nepotism. Nepotism is okay. Oh, what is her handle? Koka Mahina, as in AA. The other one that I want you to follow is my sister. Yes, it is nepotism. Raukura Huata. That's another one. Please go follow those pages. Oh, hell. Can someone who knows, can you put that in the comment section? I don't know how to do it while I'm live.
Yeah, neither. I'm sitting here like, how do you comment?
That's a great one, Rain. Start reading books like Ngā Pepeha, Hei Tu Kahurangi. Absolutely key resources to get yourself to that next level, because Ngā Pepeha is beautiful reo. Beautiful kōrero behind that reo as well. So if anyone can pin them, have I got moderators here? Or have you all bloody left? I also don't know how to pin stuff.
Neither.
We're from Te Aotau Ukiuki. Tēnā koe, Tyler, that's one page. Tēnā koe, and Koka Mahina, it's a double A. Can someone pin Tyler's comment? I don't know how to do it. FML. But we want to get our wahine Māori in these kōrero because it looks like it's a bit of a sausage fest. Thank you, Tyler. Amazing. Oh, I can't pin comments in your life. Well, hei aha tēnā. Just look at Tyler's comments. 136 people. Let's go. Okay, let's go into some more fun stuff, brother. Not to say that your kōrero wasn't enlightening and fun as well.
I'm a bit deep, though, honestly. I just
Bring it on.
Very serious.
Rain, we've already had Kaitoko Māori in this kōrero. He was our first one. Mahina kiwa in material. Do you want me to drown out there rangitane? I'll get owned. Kapai, let's go into some funner stuff. Favorite whakatau ki whakatauaki, and tell us about it.
Kāre e pau he ika unahi nui. Kāre o te mōhio mena kua rangona e koe. No taranaki tēnei ki waha whakatau ki. Iaia, eh?
Ano?
No taranaki. Oh, kāre e pau he ika unahi nui. Kia ora rāna. So it's basically, this fish has big scales, it can't be consumed. So e pānaki a taranaki maunga, iaia tū kaha ana I wainganui o ngā pakanga o taranaki. And it's so cool because it's like, even though there's all this shit going on around you or any challenges or things in your life that may be hard to overcome, ka tū tonu koe, tū kaha ana, and I love it because that's how I lived my life. My dad taught me that, introduced me to it when I first started learning the reo, and it's the one thing that carried me through all of my wiro. So I like it.
That's tough, bro.
Yeah.
That is real tough. Stay resilient. Actually, more than that, eh? It's more like,
yeah, fuck all that.
I'm going to be so confident in my own self that whatever you guys think, give him the Conrad Smith fend. So kāre e pau he ika unahi nui.
Yeah, kāre e pau, so will not be consumed, got big scales.
That gets me excited. Maunga ti tōhea.
Maunga ti tōhea.
A favourite kiwaha, kirehu, or kianga? Tell us about it.
Okay, I've got my favourite kiwaha that I learned when I was in my last year of my degree was aoraki matatū. Aoraki matatū. It's a kupu, obviously, no te waipounamu. Matatu is to be like alert. You think of like a meerkat that does this thing.
Oh yeah, a bit of a mātarai.
Matarai.
Yeah, it's like a sentry.
Yeah. And so it's that whole concept of like, stand proud, be strong, to kaha, because you can think if you're up like that, hey, cool, the two maunga things. But, so those are my two things that keep me staunch. As a whakatauki from this maunga and a whakatauki from this maunga. Kiwaha from this maunga. Another one I love is Pauriatu. Have you heard Pauriatu? A lot of people, that's my favourite. It's so sassy. I like do it. When I want to take the stage, bro, it's Pauriatu, bro. Out of my way. And another one, and I don't know if this is you might be able to help me, if it's a more of a kupu whakarite or kiwaha, tūrau Hawaii.
Well, that's I would say that's more of like a kiwaha.
Yeah, same, because
it's not a kupu whakarite.
No, it's not, because it's not actually giving the ahua of something else, eh? Like, it's literally a kiwaha. Kiwaha. But I love it.
Salute.
Yeah. Yeah, so tūrau Hawaii in the sense of may the force be with you. And, like, I like it. So when I first learned about it, and it was only recently and I've started using it a lot, it's because to me, when I first heard about it, tūrau is like a tūrau. It's like a pole that you use to, like, get to things. You know how you want to grab something to, like, pull it down, like what the warehouse people use. And then Hawaii, and I was like, I thought of it as being like a lightsaber from Hawaii, but actually I think it just means like reach for Hawaii, so like go for the ultimate.
With your saber.
Like, yeah. But I was like, oh, can it be the lightsaber? I think it was Monty, and I think she's listening because I saw her comment before about my bad Pānia pūrake. But that whole thing of like reach for the stars. And the stars being, So those are my faves. But Pauriatu is my favourite, but Aoraki Matatu is mine.
Those are cool airs, man. Like I'm into this. I'm digging it. I'm gonna have to rewatch this so that I can capture all of that. Newest kupu you've just learned and put it in a sentence. Or an exciting kupu you've learned.
I haven't learned anything recently. I have a favourite kupu.
Let's hear a favourite kupu instead.
My favourite kupu is Ngākau Nui. And a lot of people don't use it, and they need to use it more. I'm getting deep again, but I've just talked about lightsabers, so I can go deep again. Ngākau Nui, I like it because it embodies, if you learn how this kupu works, you understand Te Reo Māori a lot better, because Ngākau Nui is to be favourable towards something, or to have a likeness towards something, or to be passionate about something. That's what we use it for. We don't use it for big heart.
Yeah.
But a person with a big heart in relation to something has a likeness to it, loves it. And if you understand the concept of how this kupu works, and many others, but this is just one I like, you will understand Te Reo Māori. So people go, oh, what is that? Ngākau Nui, that means that. But it means Ngākau is heart and Nui is big. And I'm like, yeah, think about it. Go deeper. And then they understand Te Reo Māori a little bit better. So I have more of a favourite kupu, but I haven't learned anything in ages. You're just like totally...
I'm chucking you in the deep end, but you did ask for the same questions.
Oh, yeah, I know. I should have taken notes. I just remember listening to Josh's one, and I was thinking, oh, this is cool. I hope I get these questions. And then I didn't even bloody take notes on what they were. I could have prepared.
I watched it twice, and I was like just captured by the corridor, really. And I found it really hard I found it really hard to digest it and put it in a bite-sized sort of package. Yeah. That sounded just odd, just saying that. But just there were a whole lot of gems that were there. But yeah, I use Ngākau Nui as well, Ngākau Hihiko, Ngākau Matapopore, Ngākau Aroha. But I love Ngākau Nui as well, because I use it in terms of passion.
Oh, yeah. Have a passion for something.
Yeah, Ngākau Nui anahau ki.
It's just too easy for people to say, like, rata or pai. And I'm like, yeah. So that's why. And it's not exactly a big flash word. It's just a cool word because it really, if you understand it, it gives you a window into how Te Reo Māori works.
That's often the case, eh? It's these simple words that bring you into a big world.
Yeah.
And tōna mata noiho, you know, it's shallow. But if you look at it, if you explore the kupu, there's so much there.
Yeah.
You know, and when we're actually looking at Pākehā words, you know, I mean, I'm going to deter a little bit here, but when we look at the word racism, you know, white people will say, no, but that's what it says in the dictionary. But we actually explore the kupu in terms of power, prejudice, te mea, te mea.
It'll tell you why white people can't be... Oh, no, okay, let's not... Hey, it'll tell you why reverse racism doesn't exist. Yeah, suck on that.
Kia ora. Favourite pū kōrero?
Oh, do you know what? Okay, I do ka whakaio kia Josh. And if he's listening, or if anyone tells him, he'll accept this from me, because he wouldn't expect anything less from me to say this about him. And I'll even say this to his face. I hate giving him an even bigger ego than he's already got, but Petera is literally my idol when it comes to Te Reo Māori. Or actually, any form of tuku reo Māori, any form of kōrero reo Māori, he blows my mind. Honestly, when I watch him do whai kōrero, I'm like physically and emotionally moved every single time, because he's so bloody good at it. It's like annoying, but he's also, again, I'll say that to him, but it's also like he's a real good example of succeeding at such a young age and having really good quality kounga mātauranga at such a young age. This is like, he's probably, I think he's just 30 now, and it's like, that's a long time ago. He was just as respected as he is as at being a kai kōrero, not just a pū kōrero, as he is now, because he's just that good. And I really used to love working with him, because he would take me, he had finished his translation mahi for Te Taura Whiri, and he'd be like, here, have a look at this, see if you can translate it. And so I'd have a go at translating it, and he'd look at it in comparison to what he's come up with, and then we'd sit down and have a wānanga. Why did I use this? Why did he use that? Why is this? And what was his thought process for that? And that's why I respect him, because he's just, he's incredible. But that's enough ego boosting for him. The other one is Pere. Oh, Pere, my favourite human in the world. But tōna reo, I'm like, watched the, it was when I watched the thing with Holly Smith, and the translating of the waiata, it was, that's when I was like, oh, he mana tōna. So those are my two.
I love it. I love it how they're so young.
Yeah. I think that's probably because I can relate. Yeah.
And understand.
And understand. Like, I watched Muru the other day, and I found myself watching the translations, and I'm like, why am I like, that was a beautiful movie, because they were like, we're just going to, it's so tūhoe, we'll just do this and we'll speak how we want. I'm not going to say, hara mai ki te pahi. You know, it's going to come out, hara mai ki te pahi.
Hara mai ki te pahi. Hara mai ki te pahi.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's why I'm like, I struggle with our kuia and our koro listening to the reo, because I'm like, fuck, what are they saying?
Yeah. You got to be attuned to it, eh? It's like...
Yeah. Hara.
Ka pai. That's been very enlightening kōrero so far, brother. This is my favourite question. What's that reo-hapa that grinds your gears?
Oh. The one that hurts the most, and do you know what's funny? Ironically, I make this mistake all the time, so I'm consistently punching myself in the head for it. Me with a passive.
Oh, yes.
Yes. It kills me.
That's the one that gets you?
It hurts. Oh, it sometimes comes out of my mouth. Do you know why? Because I'm too turu to that whole thing of mea kei te pai ki te taringa tukuna, because it's probably right. So that's why when we had our thing about, or peraki, or like, me tuhia, it doesn't sound horrific to me. But it sounds horrific. When it comes out of my mouth, it doesn't sound horrific. When I hear it, it makes me want to punch myself in the head, because I had to, endure listening to it. Yet when I say it, it doesn't feel weird, but when I hear it, it hurts my ears. So that's one that I hate. And on the same thing of rerehangu is when people use a joiner with it, I can't handle it when people use a joiner with their passives. And when people use taia and not ahe, and I'm like, that just gets to me, because we're thinking about te reo Pākehā when we use taia in the wrong context, because Te Reo Pākehā says, can I go to the toilet? And I'm like, yeah, because then you go and use that for can in Te Reo Māori, and it's not. It's like an ability. And so I'm like, yeah, of course you can go to the toilet, or did your legs break? Because then now it's a tyre. Or, So I'm like learning the difference between that. But sometimes people just don't know. It does make me angry. It just hurts my ears a little bit.
It can be a bit confusing sometimes to get the right one.
Out. Yeah, and I sit there and I'm like
especially Tainahe.
But when it's really obvious ones, it's nothing confusing about it. So sort it out. Nah, joking.
Okay, so we're gonna give a couple of examples. We're gonna give an example word. Long day. For me and hangu, you can give that. We're gonna give the joiner. There was the hapasa that we can give an example for our audience. So give us an example. Yes.
Of what not to do. So don't do me tuhia koe I te reta. I know. Oh, I did a double one because I did it with a pen. Let's change it. Don't do me tuhia e koe te reta. Don't do that. That's ugly. And don't. Hey?
Tuhia I te reta. Oh, no. So did everyone get that? Because I got it. So when you use me, it's basically a command, right? When you use me, and then like a command. Oh hell! Te Reo Hangu, like if by itself as a command. So tuhia ki te rai, right? Write it to your noggin, your forehead. Remember it.
Yeah.
Me tuhia is a double. What's it called? Command.
Command, yeah.
Imperative?
Yeah, I don't actually know the technical term.
Me neither. So cool. And then you wouldn't say tuhia ite.
Yeah.
Tuhia ite. You would say tuhi ite.
Yeah.
Or tuhia. Oh, well.
No. Ka tuhi koe I te reta, ka tuhia e koe te reta. Because for me, a passive is the same as like a by. So you'll write the letter, or the letter will be written by you, and that's how I look at it.
So, yeah, hopefully you guys all got that. Tēnā koutou.
Yeah. No joiners with passives. Just think of that. That's the one that gets me.
Okay. Do you go back to a book or waiata that for guidance?
Yeah, actually, interestingly enough, the pātere that I was talking about that we did. So we did it with Parearo, I think, I tuhia e whaihiria. And it's got kōrero, actually, whaihiria rāua ko ahuriri, haukamau. And it's got kōrero about a bird that starts from over like Tāngoio and makes its way down to Te Aroha Tāwhaki, and it does like a journey of all the carvings on the whare. And so I think that's beautiful to me because it reminds me of the mātauranga of Te Aroha Tāwhaki, which is my heart in Kahungunu, because I'm not from there. But it also gives me kōrero hitori or Kahungunu as well, and just reminds me of, just places me there all the time. And also there's this waiata that called Karitane about my marae back home down south that I listen to all the time, because I'm not from there and I don't go there very often, and I don't know a lot of the kōrero, I don't know a lot of the history, actually a lot of the whakapapa either. It's this waiata that teaches me about all the places in the region and what their purpose is, and it's a sung waiata, and so I always listen to that. Yeah. Waiata or what?
Or a book. A book or a waiata. One of those.
Yeah. There was this book that was called, I think it's written by Timoti, and it's a book that's got waiata in it. Iti te kupu? Oh, I don't know, and it's really cool. Yeah. I always got it. I just don't know the name of it, but I've got it in my shelf, and I always go back to look at it, and it's just random random waiata, so it's a double one because, again, there's kōrero and waiata. That's how a lot of our kōrero has been carried on for so many years. But happens to be a book as well.
Beautiful. Oh, so there's some suggestions.
Mā tā mua te kupu. Sorry.
Mā tā mua ko te kupu.
Yeah.
Ka pai, and just to test you and to keep those brain waves just pinging along, give us the rules of E and key.
Give us the rules of E and key.
E and key. Let's hear them.
As in
the application.
There's a few. So key, to me, so if we're thinking of like in the form of like an active sentence structure, key is used when we've got intransitive verbs, so verbs where you go from one place to another, like haere, ma. And the best way when I teach it is to just think about it being used as to.
Yes.
Yeah. So think about key as to. And so then you've got key in the form of like, I think it's called kupu whiako, like experiential verbs. So things like whakarongo, kōrero, those are still key. Even though something's going from one place to another, there's nothing physically going from one place to another. It's an experience as such. So those are also
key. Whakarongo isn't a whiako, kupu whiako. I thought it was.
I thought it. Who said it's not?
Jackie.
Jackie
Ham. Yeah, I said, isn't whakarongo a kupu whiako? Sounds like it. And she's like, nah.
Kau. Oh, what did he say?
Hei ko tāna kau.
Oh.
So the first one is ahunga, so from here to that point. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is whiako, ai, ka pai. And so the ones that she said to us were like pirangi, hia, tumanako, maumahara,
tutaki,
ai, tutaki kia koe.
Yeah.
And there's a third one there, eh? Was there four?
Key.
Yes.
For as in used as two, so katuhia au I te pene I te reta ki te pene, so with. So
yes.
With. Yeah.
So it's with.
Yeah. There might be another one that I can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah, so those are three key options. Then your E's, you've got use, I don't know what the Māori word is, but a transitive verb, which is when you need a verb that has to have a direct effect on an object. So again, using the same example we've used, like write the letter, like the letter and the writing have a direct relationship.
Patuiaia.
Hey?
Patuiaia.
Yeah, patuiaia. There's a direct relationship of sorts. But then you've got it in the form of like stative verbs. So like kua mau ia koe, which kind of works similar to the e, but with an e, and it's like it's been grasped by you. I like to look at it like that. Yeah. Kua pau iau, kua pau I te kuri. So that's another e example. There's like 6 e's, isn't there?
Just get rid of the easy ones. My e.
Oh yeah.
From.
Yeah.
Te wā. So I te warukaraka.
Oh yeah. Is it the same as my e? It's because there's a physical traveling of time? Nah,
it's different. So there's actually from the time. So you can say it from I te raumati.
I te raumati. Oh, Monty reckons whakarongo is intransitive as well. That might be why. Oh, Buzzy, I wonder why it would be intransitive. Sorry to just thing you off there.
There could be some rules. Sorry, some exceptions.
Yeah.
So time marker, as in
True.
e, kua, ka. Tuwahi. Tuwahi.
What's this in an example?
So, I te papatakaro.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh man, I
funny how I'm a second language learner and I couldn't understand what that was unless I just heard what it is. That reminded me, I felt like a native just then. Because I knew it, but I didn't know what it was.
And then there's a possession. With the exception, there's a possession, which is iau te pene.
Oh, true.
And there's there's an example, pine pine te kura, where they say, oh, te wānanga yataua.
Yeah, nā te wānanga yataua.
Yataua nei. So it's a possession.
Yeah, true.
Well, that's just kia hihiko, kia rarama. A little bit of a brush up for us all. I don't know if I captured that, so if you're in the comments and you know if I'm wrong, tēnā, tuhia mai. Oh, me tuhia. Ka pai, bro, and we're going to come to our just a part in here where we talk about some TikTok kōrero. Yes, we're going to throw you in the deep end.
Yeah.
Should wahine be allowed to speak on the marae?
Yeah. Why not? Yahu mai koe hine nui. You know, that's a woman up there that you're, you know, and I also, yes. I'm
Cool.
going to go, yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Taui we learning reo.
Ai engari me mohio koe toa ke tūranga. And it also depends on the taumata of reo that you're learning. So, for example, I'd love it, especially at that entry-level reo, 100,000% everyone. Not te mea, you're in Aotearoa, and every second place name is in Te Reo Māori, every street name, and you've all got friends and whānau with the Māori name. So that in itself is a reason to be learning the reo at that level, especially for the things like pronunciation and basic conversation. So yes, hioi, taia tuku ki taumata ke atu, and you start to learn about things like karangai and whai kōrero, excuse me, me mohio koe tō tūranga, he Pākehā koe, kāre koe ahu mai te whenua. So that's what you need to remember, because then it becomes a bit of a like, you know, there are still parts of we have te reo me ona tikanga for a reason. It's not just there for fun. It's not to give reo a mate. Like, there's a purpose for it, because there's a lot of what we do within our tikanga that te reo was either a window to or is associated with directly, things like karangai and whai kōrero. So when you're learning the reo, those come with it, and that's part of the learning the reo journey. And as a Pākehā, you need to remember what your place is in that space, because it's too easy for Pākehā to assume that it's they're deserving of something that requires you to actually come from the earth, you know?
Ka pai tēnā. Ia e whakarongo ki a koe, te kupu mohio, he kupu whiako.
Oh, true. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, this is an easy one. What, in your opinion, is the best method of extending vowels, double vowels, macrons, or no macrons?
Because I said mohio E.
Huh?
I said mohio E.
That's my little sneaky way.
I'm sitting here reflecting on it, and I'm like, far out. That's funny, because I would have probably my whole life said mohio ki. I mean, that felt normal. No, I feel like I say me mohio koe. I do say E. Ooh.
Yes, you did. Twice. I runga I te ngā kau aroha?
No.
Kei te pai tēnā, ka nui tēnā. Yeah. That macrons, extension of our vowels.
I like them there. Thanks. Yeah, but if you're not going to do them, don't do them. Don't just not put one somewhere and put one somewhere else. You know, do it or don't. But double vowels, I just find them hard to read personally. I just can't. I struggle to read it. I don't know what it's saying. I've tried, and I've got many Tainui friends that put up real statuses, and I'm like, man, this takes me 10 times longer than it should just to even read, let alone mow. So
what it is really is to extend the assignment.
Yeah. Make it 4 pages instead of 3. Yeah,
20 pages instead of 10.
But yeah, horopaki is important. Like, context is always important. So like when you're listening, when you're if you see a piece of writing, for example, that's got no macron on it, you need to put it into context and don't just assume that it's vagina when it's clearly mummy, you know.
Tika tau, tika tau. So,
The
for
content.
everyone here, I'm sure you guys know Pairama more than I do, but Pairama, I'm very proud of you for the stuff that you do in the whakatika tika, with your ure and uri, your
Thank you.
tara and your tara. He mea hangareka, he mea tino hangareka. Yeah, so go have a look at that series if you haven't already. And yeah, it's just really cool to see your horopaki that you come up with.
Thank you. Yeah, it usually just comes from real life experiences.
Yes, that tara. I mean, not that I've heard tara and tara too often, but ure, raho, that might be one that.
Yeah.
The raho might be the one that is my biggest hapa, the one that grinds my gears the most.
Yeah.
Raho is the labia majora e te iwi. The labia majora. I'm trying to keep this PC real, i.e. Latin real. Raho a labia majora. Please check that out. Not the shaft. That is an ure. E te iwi, it's an ure. So you don't say, oh yeah, I got a big raho. You got one single labia majora? Are you, what is it, Lance Armstrong?
Are you talking about Peter Koro koe mo ngā poro?
Yeah, tika.
Oh, yeah.
Mo te poro. Ara ngā raho.
So funny.
It is ngā raho.
Yeah.
Not te raho.
Where did it come from? Is this just one of those things that society created? Just like teko for shit. And it came from tiko. And you're like, I'm guessing it came from tiko. That or people just decided to say teko.
Yo, teko. It's so much better to say it though.
Yeah, true.
It's so much nicer to say, yo, teko rather than tiko. It sounds too proper.
Yeah.
Mareire tu ai te ure, tēnā koe reigns. Yes, absolutely. Raho, avaporo. Ure, what the hell am I doing?
Oh my gosh. Fuck, what are your... Jesus, I think you just exposed yourself, bro, because if that was me explaining it, there's no way I'd be going like this. Unless you're talking about the tree outside.
Woo! I have no explanation. Carl, no, I'm not going to do that again. Yes, it is Tiko, not Teko. Yeah, no, we're getting on. I mean, we've been having a good old chat. Anyway, so let's go to some controversial kōrero. One controversial kōrero, two controversial kōrero. Should they be compulsory?
Reo be compulsory. No. Again, depending on the level, but no, because kei pōrero. That's what I fear for if it's just done in the wrong way. So it'll get bastardized, but like to an extent, compulsory in terms of should be embedded within the curriculum, for example. So if you don't know, I'm a PLD facilitator for for early childhood, primary and secondary schools. I facilitate professional learning development with kaiako in the Porirua region. And one thing we work on is like cultural competency, mātauranga Māori. We do some stuff. We do indigenizing curriculum. We do indigenizing pedagogical approaches to making Māori succeed in schools. Those are all the conversations we have. And one of the things I talk about is the window that Te Reo Māori has within connecting to rangatahi Māori or tamariki Māori. And so to an extent, it's never you need to be teaching. You need to know this because the thing is with like Pākehā approaches to teaching, the teacher is the expert, except whereas that's not the way it is, nor should it be that way, because there's all these kids in your class that have got all this mātauranga that can be shared. It's a very Pākehā way of teaching. It's a colonial way of teaching. It comes from the Industrial Revolution. In case people didn't know, that's what our education system was built on, not aho matua. And so I go in there and teach them ways to shift that. And within that kōrero, I was talking about encouraging them to use aspects of the reo or encouraging them to bring out what reo they do know or helping the kids in the class that have got that knowledge or do share that knowledge with their whānau at home to bring it into the classroom. So to that extent, yes, and I'm talking all kids in our education system. It should be compulsory to an extent, but not a class where someone is teaching the reo to everyone, because it doesn't apply to everybody. You can't be, if you're Pākehā, not everything can apply to you in terms of the reo. So no is the short answer, but yes to an extent. Because it's important for our kids to succeed in education, not kura aho matua, and the way they can do that is by hearing and seeing their own language inherently within a school. So that's the only reason I like it to be more compulsory, but not it. Yeah. Or just send your kids to kura kaupapa Māori. God.
All that. Tēnā koe, tēnā kōrero.
Yeah.
Hey, more controversy. We get this, I'm sure you get this all the time too. Do you need to speak reo to get moko kanohi?
Oh.
Hey. Before you answer that, be as honest as you need to.
Yeah.
This is a place of non-judgment. We are allowed to have our opinion on things.
Yeah, okay. So, kei te maumahara koe ki ngā kōrero Rhonda Tibble, I think Toru Tauki Muri, and she talked about a few, and her kōrero was taken way out of context, and everyone just chose to believe that she said you need a reo to have moko. And ka whakaio ki aia, it's that essence of if I see you and you have moko kanohi, I'm just gonna not assume, but I'm gonna maybe assume. My natural instincts is to just think, oh yeah, they must be at least on some sort of journey. So that's that. But then I also think to myself, like, what? And this just might be naivety or lack of education, and I'd probably need to do some more research. But what direct connection does reo have to moko? And that's the question I ask myself, because reo, there's the reo is like a window to many aspects of te ao Māori. Like when you think of performing arts, you might think of ringa whao, you might think of karakia, you might think of any whai kōrero or karanga. The reo is inherent within all of those things. But is it what's the connection between reo and moko is a question I ask myself. I'm not denying it. What's the connection between reo and moko that means you need this to have this? It's like that kōrero of that fellow when I asked him about religion and moko. I'm like, what's the connection? Because I couldn't see one. And it's the same with reo sometimes. And I think to myself also, there are plenty of like wahine marae that they are the queenie of their marae. They understand tikanga Māori through in and throughout. They're so, they embody mana wahine. And I think to myself, why would they not deserve it? They might not have a reo and they don't deserve moko, but they're the most Māori people I've ever met in my life. And also I think of some ringata / ringa whao or both, some people that are incredible at like harakeke or understand rongoā Māori through and throughout, and those are other aspects of te ao Māori, and these people are contributing as actual experts to these fields. And it's not that there's a direct connection, again, to say rongoā or harakeke as there is to reo, but do we sit there and go, you need to be good at rongoā to have a moko? Or because the reo is just one aspect of te ao Māori, and yes, it's embedded in all of those things 1,000%, and it helps all of those things, but there are still other ways that you can contribute to te ao Māori, and you So I think about that. I also know some kaitā whose reo is very much not even, they're incredible kaitā and their reo wasn't quite, and I'm like, well, this person's doing it. What, do they not deserve it? They're the expert in the space, They've done the rangahau. They've been with all the tohunga, and so, tohunga experts. And so, that's just my whakaaro on that, but again,
and it's really great actually hearing different perspectives, because some people are like, no, Māori isn't enough. You got to be on the blah 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 blah. I really enjoyed your kōrero in that. Yes, like why do we have this huge expectation that we have to know our reo Māori? And the thing is that kia mōhio mai koutou mā, My mum doesn't speak Te Reo Māori. She understands Te Reo Māori. And I'll have to say this, that you guys wouldn't be speaking Te Reo Māori today if it wasn't for my mum. I mean, like, yeah, yes, it is a bit of a big call. But ngā tamatoa. Tēnā kōrero tēnā. And it comes from that reanga where their contribution in fighting colonisation was most important. Yep. It wasn't actually Te Reo Māori. Learning Te Reo Māori was the luxury. Yep. So she wears moko kanohi proudly. She has a whanaunga to Rhonda Tibble.
Oh, true.
Yeah. E whanaunga ia ki, ki reira, ki Ngāti Porou. And, I would have loved if Rhonda Tibble came up to my mum and tried that shit, because...
Yeah, it would have...
He wahi neka a Rhonda Tibble, but...
I kua tūtaki au ki tō māma hoki, and I'm like, she's staunch. She also makes really good pasta.
Yeah. My mum.
Yeah. Is she vegan?
Oh. You know when I was.
Oh,
no, anyway.
Oh, yeah. Your mum made pasta for wānanga once, and it was like the best pasta I've ever had. And it was like vegetarian, vegan or something. It was like incredible.
It was puttanesca pasta. Puttanesca. Yes, it was a red one. Oh, yeah. And it was puttanesca pasta. It's the kind that the lower class used to eat in Italy.
Oh, true.
But she made it quite delicious. Anyway, let's get on to our next section. Just as a reminder to our viewers, let's go for another plug here. Let's chuck in another plug. So if we've got anyone that remembers their names, we need to just tag at Raukura Huata and at Koka Mahina. Please, can you add that in the comment section so that we can get their names out there and we can get their following to over 500 people. We want to get them into this corridor.
Yes, you definitely.
Koka Mahina and Raukura Huata. Anyone there? Kia ora Rain. And Koka Mahina. So double vowel.
This one tagged Rain to do it.
Following. I don't know. So not the... Oh, yes. That's the one from Vision. Thank you, Vision. Oh, but Kiwa is too far. She's like on 4 followers. How much? Okay. Let's hear greatest lessons learned.
Greatest lessons learned. Don't argue with kuia. Yeah, don't bother, bro. You're never gonna win. Even if you're right, you're never gonna win. And don't be fragile. Ooh. Literally, there's no space for being fragile. There's no space for being sensitive. You just got to get over it. It sounds harsh and it sounds like so mean, but it's just true. There's no space for it. Yeah, especially if you're on a learning journey. Just you got to suck it up. Honestly, you're gonna have a teacher that was rude to you. Not rude to you. You're gonna have a teacher that felt like they were really blunt to you. You're gonna have a teacher that was the one that said no, you couldn't do this because it's not your play. You're gonna have all of those things, and it's just you can't be non-way about it. Like, it's just not an option. And I say that not because I'm calling anyone soft. I'm saying that because it's just to keep he taonga te reo. It's to keep the mana of our reo. That's why, because otherwise it'll just get bastardized. So, yeah. That's my biggest lesson I learned. It's just no time to be a sock.
That is just basically just be humble.
Yeah, just be humble.
Kia tū maro.
Yeah. Are you going back to the
It's been a long day, brother. Okay, since learning Te Reo Māori, how has it changed your worldview, if at all?
Since learning Te Reo Māori?
Yes.
Maro. Sorry. Why, God? I actually resonated with Josh's corridor. I actually feel invincible to a certain degree. I don't know what it is, but I there was no like self-love, there was no self-confidence prior to learning Te Reo Māori. And it's wild because people are like, what, you just now can speak another language? And I'm like, it's so much more than that, and I can't even explain it to you. But that whole concept of just knowing who you are, I know that's probably been the same answer every single time you've asked this question, but just like it actually is that connection to knowing who you are.
Yeah.
It's and so also I can speak another language, and that's fucking cool.
That is pretty cool. That is damn cool. I may
Sometimes
hear
not
that same
perfectly, but
korero. Sorry, what?
I said sometimes not perfectly, but I can do it.
Patapatai now. Oh, never mind. Forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sure that was interesting, and I just was not shutting up.
No, Patapatai. What were you talking about? What is going on? I killed myself at the gym.
Tomorrow? Is that on your mind?
Say again?
Are you off to the Nehu tomorrow?
I am off to the Nehu tomorrow. And I'm sure they don't want to see me since I did the double up korero. My brother, you sit down.
Oh, did you? I missed that.
Oh, yeah, nah. So yesterday I went on and I was I was trying to go today, but a contingent from my mahi said, oh, you want to go on today? So I was like, oh, okay. So I went on with them, had my korero, I got up on the Paipai, and I was up there with the likes of Petera Hakiwai, Te Korau, and Kingi Kiriona.
Like you were sitting on the pie with them.
I was on the pie with them, and I was like, oh, shit, do I speak? Okay, I'm going to tell everyone the story. Yep, so I get up, I have my chat, and I'm going to repeat this to you guys, if you've heard the story already. But I got up, had my korero, and I said to the whānau pani, the kirimate, and especially to our friend who works with us, and he's the brother of the person who has passed away. And I says, here is my shoulder for you to cry on. But don't cry on it just yet because I've got a $600 suit on.
Stop.
I honestly said that. I shit you not. I said, don't cry. I've got my... And I knew it would crack him up.
Yeah.
I knew it would crack him up. I knew he had a big laugh about it. Anyway, so, mera wake katua a Petera. And he gets up and he's like, oh, pai noa ki te tangi ki runga I oku pakahiwi. Rua te kautara noi ho te utu o tēnei tihate. So he responded to that.
That's his kaha. Okay, so this is what I was going to say to you, is that the best kai korero are funny. So you took that, because that is actually honestly a tohu of the best kai korero. And then that guy wants to get up and take your joke and run with it. That's what he's good at.
And it gets better. It gets better. Okay, so then Kingi Kiriona gets up and he goes, oh, kua hoko nā e au, aku kākahu, no te hoko, whare hoko hoko. So he got his stuff from the second-hand shop. And so he jumped on that korero as well. And then it went back onto the other side, and one of the Morris brothers got up and they said, oh, yeah, my suit only cost $2. And I was like, they're making fun of me out of my joke.
Yeah, they're all rolling with it.
So I went back today, not because I wanted to speak, but because I was representing a different tira. So I got up and I spoke, and I stood there and I said, those jeans, the pet that I was wearing, are the same ones that I'm wearing today. And they are $140. And I looked at Kingi Kiri on the shoes, and I'm like, those shoes look way too flash to get from the hoko hoko shop. And I said, kare kore, toru rau tāra te utu o ona hu. No doubt.
Oh, my God.
Tēnā koe yo taka.
Oh, cool though.
Yeah, when I got up, they were like, oh, not this guy.
Shit on his back. What's the joke of the day?
I was like, whatever, I'm going to say. I think that there's like, he wā tōna, kia taumaha ngā kōrero.
Yeah.
He wā no tōna, kia hiki nā ke mai tēnā taumahatanga, and sometimes just have a bit of a laugh. So, yeah, I got up twice.
Crack up.
The other thing is that I worked in I was like, oh, yeah. I want to pay a funny, but I need to think about how I'm going to work in this hanawiti kōrero. You know, the hanawiti?
Hanawiti kōrero.
Yeah. E hara ngati whātua I te hanuiti.
Oh! Sorry, I thought it was a joke that you already made. Oh, yeah. And did you?
No, I had worked it into my kōrero.
Did you?
Yeah. Ko tae mai ake tātou ki te wānanga te kōrero. E ki atu koutou mā. Ai, me alo tātou ki te whare tapawha. Koe nā tētai o ngā parawa. Hewe anō. E te mohi o tātou, ka reka rawa tēnei hanawiti mena e rua ngā parawa. And I go, yeah. Ko tētai o ngā mata, o tēnei parawa. And I talked about that kaupapa.
Yeah.
Kare kore, ka reka tēnei hanuiti.
Oh, God.
Good times, good times. Good times.
Oh, that was a lovely story. I loved that.
I think it's like a fun thing to do. Like, get up there and just
hard.
Tukuna tō reo.
Yeah.
What have been some of the benefits? Oh no. I think we've already kind of touched on that, and we're running on low. What are your goals for your reo for the future?
Whakarake Te Reo. You know, at the moment it's I've got a reo and I know what I know. I know what I know pretty well, you know, but I want to get my reo to a stage where it's whai kōrero abu. To be proud of my whai kōrero when I stand and do whai kōrero. Because at the moment, like, yeah, I know that. Like, I know where my reo is at, and that it's been 3 years since I've actually sat in the class to learn, and that things can change, things can be forgotten, habits change, and all that sort of stuff. So my goals for the future for my reo is just to get it way prettier than it is, because it's good, but it's not pretty. It's just like I can get. If no one ever spoke English to me ever again, obviously I'd be absolutely fine. But I want it to be way prettier than that, so that I can kōrero like people like Peter, you know? Yeah, that's my goal, my personal goal.
Love it. Cool. Was that a short term, medium term, long term?
Oh, it should be a short term, and it's achievable short term, but kei te maangere au. Yeah, which means it's just maybe it's not as much. I need to make it a priority. I don't know. Yeah, I need to just sort my shit out. Yeah.
Love it.
I need to find it. Yeah.
What are your hopes for Te Reo Māori in the future?
That it does what it did for me, and people can understand the beauty of it more so than just being like, oh, we want it because you're in New Zealand, Aotearoa. That people genuinely understand how beautiful of a language it is and how powerful it is and what it means to us as a people. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's not like a direct goal. It's not like, 98% of people speaking Māori by 2028. It's just like, I just need people to understand. And that's happening. You look back even 10 years, and the social perception of what Te Reo means in this country has changed so much. So, haere tonu tātou.
I love it. Yeah. And you're right, like 10 years ago, I don't think it has gained the momentum that it has nowadays. Nowadays.
Yeah.
We're on a roll.
Yeah, hard out. But that's what we need to keep doing, because people like your mum and her generation are the reason why we're, being put in a position to be able to do this. And now we've got to fuck them under that by keep the ball rolling. If we fuck it up, they're going to be pissed off.
The thing is, there's greater access to different ways of learning. And so not only do we have those traditional methods, the whare wānanga, puka puka, e rā momo rauemi, but we also have access to people like yourself. And so, like, I think you're not going to pat yourself on the back because kare te kumare kōrero mo tōna ke reka. But I think it's also recognizing the impact of what you're doing by using your platform of tata ki te 3,000 tangata I runga I tāua atamira pia. Is it matamira? Whārangi. Let's say whārangi. And using that in a way that you are pushing your reo, even if it sometimes is to the detriment of views, likes, follows, te mea.
Yeah.
It might come, you might get 40,000 likes on one video because it clicks. But the fact that you're willing to go out there and do a whole video, just in Te Reo Māori, whether people understand it or not, that's a great little access into, little use, great use of the platform. And I remember when Koka Mahina actually came up with that kōrero, which he says, if you're Māori TikToker and you're not pushing Te Reo Māori, kei te hakwe.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw that kōrero, I saw you jump on that kaupapa straight away.
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting about that? Now that I would even say Mahina is like a tino pu kōrero. But just on that note, as a person, like an inspiring person to me, she is. And she probably hate me even saying this. She'll be rolling her eyes right now. She was listening, like, fuck up. But, like, when she did that, I remember reading it, and I didn't take it as being directed at me, although possibly was, and others, many others. But I read it, and I watched it when she put that TikTok up saying, Māori ma, make your content Māori, because I'm sitting here just stuffing my face and making skits, which is all good. I'm allowed to do that. It's my life, But at the same time, here I am with my tauranga that could be shared, and why am I not sharing it? And so that's what I kia ora hoa. That resonated with me. And ever since she put that out, honestly, at least 80% of, I've tried to keep it to like an 80-20 at least, and it's not even hard to do that because I love Te Ao Māori. But to keep it like at least 80% Māori related, even if it's the smallest thing that just puts it in their faces, and yeah, that is the goal. Just to put
I think part of that challenge is actually just being whakamā to do it, because maybe you're not the tohunga, maybe you're not the mātanga reo, but actually it's that you're out there and you're willing to actually put it out on your platform. And you've got some people that come over there for the sole purpose of trying to pick at your reo or pick at your shit.
Yeah.
They don't come up with the ngākau aroha. They come in with the purpose of actually just, you got that wrong.
Yeah.
And you're willing to do that. So not only are you going through the challenges that you're already going through, as you had mentioned earlier, but you also now you got the bastard real police.
No, I like there's some police that are nice though. We're good with them.
Look, we're going to wrap up soon, but what does Te Reo Māori mean to you?
Kind of said it in underpinning a lot of what I've talked about tonight. It's just like it. It's more than just in a language. It's just more than just us coming out of here. It's actually just, it means, ooh, that's so corny. It means everything. Fuck, shut up. It means more than just a language. It means your hononga tu te ao Māori. It means the hononga that's heard and seen and spoken. It's that hononga, because some things we can't see or feel in any way, but they're there. But the reo is something that we can hear. So yeah, that's it. It's my hononga tu te ao Māori.
Tēnā koe. Last question. Favorite kapa? Top 3 kapa?
Ooh. I'm trying not to be influenced by this year, because honestly, I was obsessed with Angi 2 this year so much that I almost cried at the result. But, and saying that, I do actually know Taha 2. I remember I saw them actually live for the first time at the Auckland Regionals in 2017. And I was just fascinated by them, and actually Te Wakahuia then as well. But if I take into consideration this year's Matatini, Te Wakahuia were always my top. I'm trying not to be rude. I wasn't obsessed this year, and so they maybe left the top 3. But Angi 2, Te Taha 2, and Te Piki Kōtuku.
Piki Kōtuku. Sharp. They're like an
Yeah.
army.
Yeah, they are. They're on. As I've watched I've watched Te Piki Tuku from this year and Angi 2 from this year 1,000 times, I swear to God. But Te Taha 2's always been actually one of my favourite kapa ever. And I don't actually know if they've won or if they've ever made top 9/12. I can't actually remember, but they've just always been people that I sit down and watch. And they got Honongatsu Omahu as well, the haki wise.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those are my three favorite. But Te Tahatsu are actually my number one because I just enjoy watching them because they're interesting to watch. And I remember at the regionals that I went and saw them at. What's his name? He's Moana's brother, Moana Hakiwai's brother. He sliced his chest, and when he was talking about Don Key, and his chest was actually bleeding. Hear me.
Yeah, hear me, Titan. I remember 2014. I was at the Auckland Regionals, and I saw the same thing. I saw him do the like the.
Oh, they do it at the Auckland Regionals as well.
Yeah, 2014
regionals. Is that his thing?
He did that, and he like they were talking about social media, and he grabbed the phone and just bam. And I was like, this guy's terrifying. Yes, hear me, Titan.
Yeah. I also love Rangiura so much. I honestly am obsessed, and I'm not even being biased. I can't be biased. I don't fuck up Rangiura. In fact, I didn't even say any Tonga or Taranaki teams. I like Rangiura. Anyway, Rangiura are just like, they're so interesting.
They take it by the, yeah.
Yeah.
They grab it by the horns.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but I remember the Kienge haka and Te Wairarapa at the Wairarapa regionals, and that was when I was like, these people are going to be incredible. And they are. Well, they always be.
Don't make it the braka. I was like, whoa, these people are so cool. Yeah, that was super, super cool. And I agree with that. Here we are, North.
I feel like they should have been top 9 this year, top 12. I really genuinely feel like they should have.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think I was being biased when I say that.
They really blew me away, if I'm being straight up.
They blew like the nation away too. Like everyone was talking about them.
And what you know, it was just tough game. It was tough money, you know.
Yeah.
To make it
probably
to that
2
top 9.
points in it. Yeah.
Here we are, North. Pairama. Tēnā koe, te pākahui maunga. Ko tai wainga nui tēnei pāhotanga mataora ki te toha tohi o mātauranga, o kaiaka, o tautohito, o wheako, o Te Reo Māori. Tērā pēnā nei tonu, ko whakatau ngā piro, ko whakawehea ngā mai, anipā.
Yeah.
No mai ki te
go live more often.
Oh, well, that's just lovely. I'm glad that I could have been of service.
You did. You were of service because, I was actually nervous for the first 2 minutes and now I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm all good.
I think the great thing, so when I started going live, actually, I was nervous as how to do it.
Yeah.
But after doing it for a little while, what I realized is that we start to see the intricacies of the people. You know, not only myself, people start to know me a bit better, but they actually start to know the interviewees a bit better. And why not take it insight into their journey? Because actually, when we look into it, their journeys are not so different from your own right now. And it doesn't matter how much they're going to encourage you to do it. If you don't actually pick up the pen, pick up the book, register your name to a course, it's not going to happen for you. So we can encourage. We can offer advice. We can offer all of this stuff. But if you aren't going to do the hard yards, or if you aren't going to just take that first step, which is all you need to do, hopefully these are a catalyst to you just, planting that foot for your first step. Then, yeah, nā reira mihi ana kia koe hoa, I tō tainga mai I konei, māku noa tā tātou nei kaupapa e whakakapi, nā runga I te aroha, te tūmanako, me te whakapono, ki ngā atua katoa o te ao Māori.
Mihi ka tika kia koe hoki, bro. Thank you for doing this. It's a mea mata.
I find it fun, actually. I find it really fun, actually, just getting to know our people a bit better and actually just to, because they make, you're right. They don't have a hype up, but they don't have a responsibility to actually put out Māori content. And often, most of them, don't. But actually, we know that they speak reo. We know that they're passionate about reo. And how do we kind of just like get an insight into what their life is like, their challenges? Yeah, nā ringi tēnā, e hoa. Ka whakakapia tēnei wahanga kia tātou mā. Tu iai runga, tu iai raro karo mo te pō, karo mo te ao, i te wānanga, i te kōrero pūā, takataka pūā, whio, pūā o whia te maramahu nuku, te maramahu rangi, takoto ki te hau no tū te wini, no tū te wana, no tū ka puta ki te whai au ki te ao mārama, e rongo e whakairia ki runga kia tina. Haumi e hui e, tai ki e.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, brother.
Tēnā koe. Me pēhea te puta atu.
Yeah, Patapatai. Tēnā pēhea kei te mea kareira.
Oh, I got heaps of gifts.
What?
Do I got? Is 280 coins? Is that my gift? It's gifts.
Yes, it is.
Is that good or bad?
I think that's probably good. Like $1. $1 or two.
That's so funny. Oh, what a cricket.
Yeah. Oh, you got another one. Oh, you got another one.
Did I actually?
300.
Thanks, Father. E te whānau. Oh, that's one I hate. Kia ora whānau. Anyway.
Yeah. Yes, he koha. Okay, ka pai tātou. So we will just do one more plug. Can anyone just put those couple of names down there, please? So, Raukuru Huata and Koka Mahina. And we'll follow those people. Thank you very much.
Ka kits when I get out of here. Much love. Thank you, Tiotani.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
Okay.
Kia ora tātai. I pēhea tēnā kōrero kia koutou mā. How was that kōrero to you guys? Can anyone bring up those kupu that we just learnt? Ngākau Nui was one. Koe mahara tātou, don't worry. We will be ending this live ako ake nei. This is just about us wrapping up this quarter. I mean, we went a bit over time. I like to try and keep it an hour and a half so that we can enjoy our night. Let's do that one. Oh, sorry, Marley, I didn't see anything. But I remember Maupo. So the kupu that we learned today was Ngākau Nui. So the application of that kupu has many, a couple of different faces. Ngākau Nui can mean favourable to, as he explained. You can be passionate about something. You could, I don't know what else, what he said, the application of it. Kia mahi e Ngākau Nui ana. Mihara rawa te wānanga tūrau Hawaii. Tūrau Hawaii tēnā koe, Mons. During these wānanga usually would have fallen off the waka. Well, tēnā koe I tō manawaroa for sticking it out, e hoa. Tēnā rawa atu kia maunga teitei kōrero. Tēnā koe, Rocky. Yeah. Rawe tēnā kōrero kia hau me te... Oh, reo Pākehā. Those wānanga are really cool for me because it's actually really interesting to hear these really different perspectives. And, to hear the difference in the kōrero that came from Josh, from Renata, and now to hear from Pairama, to hear those variants of kōrero has been really enlightening. And sorry if my brain has kind of been a little bit out of it. Aoraki mata tū, tēnā koe, Tai. Tika tau, and it talks about the scaly mountain on it. Yeah, I'm glad that people are enjoying these. So just as a reminder, tomorrow we have Tūterangi Few Cairns, who runs online reo agency. He'll be coming in with us around, I can't remember, ware ia hau te taima, around 8:39ish, I think. But me whakaro atu rā tātou ki ana tamariki, so his kids. So the whakatauaki, or whakatau ki rā nei, I don't know if it was one or the other, was Kare e pau he ika unahi nui. That was such a good one, and I want to actually get the direct translation of that again. I'll listen to it, listen to our kōrero again. But this was really exciting, having a chat to you guys, and to give an insight about, you know, it's my favourite word at the moment, isn't it? To Pairama's life, and to connect you on a personal level with him. He oia no tātou, because we've been in wānanga, and I'm not supposed to eat, I'm kind of hungry. So I prepared myself a mango. As a refresher, kare he pau he ika unahi nui. I have a mango as a refreshment. Kare he pau he ika nui, he ika unahi nui. That's a weird looking mango. Get you. It's quite delicious. This is from Flax Man New World. Let's rock it out. Tēnā tātou, I tā koutou tainga mai ki konei. I wish you all a great Monday. Hopefully this has cured some Monday-itis. Yeah, miha tika tātou mā. Kia pai te toinga o te wiki. Tuesday, let's just give out a rātaka. So Tuesday, Tūtarangi Few Cairns. Wednesday is going to be Jaja or Janahura. Cool, we've been able to secure Janahura for Wednesday. And on Thursday, we've got Cuckoo King. I actually don't know his name. And then we're going to have a new set of people for our following week there. We've got Maka Pohatu that we've secured. I've got to get a couple of people that I've seen in the comments here to jump on this kōrero as well. We want Ngāre no Te Wāti to join us at some point. Could be cool to hear his kōrero as well. So, we'll just team people up, bringing you closer to these people. Tēnā wātu tātou katoa, kia pai te pōraro, pō manahau,